This, the podcast, with your host, Clinton Washington, and your co-host, DeAngelo Gillespie. Let's go.
Welcome, family, once again to another episode of Two Cent the Podcast. I am, as usual, here with you, your favorite uncle, Uncle Clint, in the house today. And as usual, and I'm forced by contract to have my co-host here. You know, I got to quit saying that, man. People go think we don't like each other. But I'm here, ladies and gentlemen, once again with Mr. Formerly.
I didn't know my mic was on.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry, I didn't know.
All right. Mr. Single out here in the streets is our formerly known as Mr. DeAngelo Gillespie. What's up, homie?
Your hero.
Okay. Y'all hero.
Just address me as your hero.
Oh, okay.
Everybody know who you're talking about.
All right. Hey. So, like you said, y'all hero, Mr. DeAngelo Gillespie, is out here.
Out here saving lives one at a time.
All right. You know.
Hey, man, my mic kind of low.
Your mic kind of low? All right.
My level's kind of low. I don't feel like I'm turning up in the headphones.
All right. What about now?
Yeah, that's better.
Yeah. I think that's an ego thing.
Hey, man.
You're that person that love to hear yourself speak.
Hey, man, I'm trying to fit in with the rest of the majority.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have something real special going on with this episode of Two Cent the Podcast. You know, we're going to talk to a person who's running for senator for Washington County District 15, which, you know what, I'm very involved in that district. I got a kid in that district. So we're going to get into some education, and we're going to talk about local politics. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to introduce you to Mr. Lamar Wise, who's running for Senate of the 15th District in Washington County. Lamar, what's going on, man?
What's up?
Thanks
for having me.
You didn't give him the applause, man. That was terrible.
You want some applause?
Yeah.
Hey,
okay.
All right. We gonna throw the applause.
I feel good about that. Thank you. You're
make
looking
it
out.
official.
Yeah, you're looking out.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
Listen, ladies and gentlemen, you know,
That was terrible. I'm like,
listen to your favorite uncle. You know, you can start getting into politics for the presidential elections and all of that good stuff, and it's great. But what we want you to do is know what's going on the local level. And this young fella here is going to be running for Senate, as I said, of the 15th District of Washington County here in the state of Oregon. Washington County, 15th District. Listen, you guys need to be listening. So everybody out there. All right, let's get right into it.
Yeah.
Why?
I know. The legislature doesn't pay a lot, so why am I out here?
Exactly. Listen, okay. You went to school where?
I went to Century High School.
Okay, then after Century High School, you went to school where?
The University of Oregon. Go Ducks.
University of Oregon.
Out there. Yeah.
And your background, your educational background?
Yeah, so, educational background?
Yeah. What do you have a degree in?
Well, so I was studying poli-sci mostly. I was trying to get in some ethnic studies there at the end, but poli-sci.
Okay.
Science. Yeah.
You know, political science.
Yeah.
You know, for us non-educated folks on that level. So political science.
everybody knew he meant with you.
Yeah.
What does it mean? I still don't know.
Okay. So you studied political science. So, okay, this is the direction you should be going in.
Yeah.
But why, man? It doesn't pay enough to go out here and fight for people. So why do it?
Yeah. Because we need it. Short and sweet. Like, honestly, at the end of the day, a lot of our communities are still hurting. COVID-19 has not been good to a lot of us. Specifically, you want to talk about, specific communities, farm workers. They've been fighting for overtime pay for decades, and they still don't have that. And those are the folks that put food on our tables. We were trying to pass an omnibus public safety bill after the murder of George Floyd. Guess what we didn't get? We didn't get that either.
Okay.
We also worked on a huge immigrant and refugee bill that would ensure that they had legal representation. And look, at the end of the day, we didn't get that either. And so what that tells me is that continuously what has happened is, folks in the Senate continue to really delay the issues of people of color and working families. And I can't really let that happen because at the end of the day, we're still suffering. Like we're still out here doing our best to get through. But without representation in there, we'll just continue to get passed by, and our jobs become harder. It's harder to live. It's hard to get through the day. So I'm here to change that with the growing coalition of folks that have endorsed me. So we're hoping to make that splash here pretty soon.
Okay, so you're from the community. You were educated in the community. Went off to college in Oregon. So you've stayed, rooted in the state and in the community. Let's talk about the education system here in Washington County. Are we failing our kids, or are we right on par for our kids? What's your opinion about that?
Education is huge for me. So actually, when I left the University of Oregon, I got hired as an organizer for the Oregon Student Association. I eventually became their executive director, and then went on to be a lead lobbyist in passing the Student Success Act, which was a huge boost to schools. But also in that advocacy, I found that we have a lot of work to do to make sure that we're retaining teachers, especially teachers of color. I don't know about you all, but I didn't have a teacher of color throughout my whole time in elementary school, middle school, high school. It wasn't until I went to college that I got my first Black professor. And that has an effect on students. There's also been a huge discussion around school resource officers in their roles in the community, making sure that the students feel comfortable. And so we have a lot to do with retention. We still have a lot of work to do with retention. We still have a lot of work to do to make sure that the achievement gap currently in schools continues to be depleted, and it comes down to resources. It comes down to investing back into our communities, and specifically the schools where there are low-income students and students of color.
Go ahead. I see you ready to talk.
So,
Yeah.
Chuck Riley stepping down early. Did that prompt you to run for Senate, or were you already interested before you? I mean, you could have ran in 2023 when he's up, but did that prompt you to make your push now, or were you already kind of gearing up to run in 2023?
Well, I was definitely always interested in running. And, I was actually very shocked when Senator Chuck Riley said that he was going to resign. So that, he has served for a bit now, and,
2015.
Yeah. And so, it's actually, I think it's a great opportunity and great time, because with an appointment process, it's a little bit different. The precinct committee people vote, which that vote's going to be on the 8th of January. And then from there, it goes to the county commissioners on the 14th. And so it's an opportunity for not only us to get out in front of the primary that's going to be in May, but it's a moment for us to really start to highlight some of the issues that I care about deeply, and as well as the community. And so, I just really thought it was the time.
Okay.
Yeah,
I got one. I'm sorry, man. I got one more follow-up question. So we talking about 15th district. So that's North Plains, Hillsborough, Forest Grove. That's
Hillsborough. Yeah.
So, do you think you being an African American, do you think that more? I don't want to say hinder. I'll just say, do you think it changes things? Do you think it is something? Is it something that you welcome, because it is a big deal to we're just talking numbers here. It is a big deal.
Yeah.
Do you see it as something that could be a detriment to you, or do you look at it as a positive? Maybe it's time for a fresh face.
Yeah. Honestly, I see it both ways. Washington County is changing. It's become more diverse. Actually, at this point, Washington County is the most diverse county in the state, and it's going to continue to go that trend. At the same time, it's just very recently that I think folks are really thinking through what we need in order to properly serve the growing diversity here, which is representation and resources. And so, I mean, is it a hindrance? Like, I would say no. Like, I definitely.
I think hindrance was a bad word. I wish I would have said it that way.
No, it's all good. I would also be lying to you if if I said I didn't have to code switch sometimes, right? Like, depending on who I'm talking to, like, I want to make sure that I'm communicating my message to a broad, set of folks. But I also feel like this race would be very different if I was like in East Portland. It's just like
I mean, your face is gonna be on billboards and stickers and things like that. So, and I would love to tell you that, oh man, we just gonna judge you on your merit and we'll find out what you want to do for the city and see how it aligns with our own values. But that's not true. I'm looking at you right now, and I live over here, and I'm like, I'll vote for him.
So let me kind of lean on that. Let me be a little bit of the devil's advocate.
Oh yeah, love that.
So, 2019, the white population of your district is about 74%, somewhere up in there. Why would I vote for you? I mean, you speak about things about being equal,
right?
But if I'm a white person and I'm in your district, do I feel like I'm being left out? Because there's a lot of talk about people of color when it comes down to the education system. Well, my child is not a person of color. So how do I feel included in your mission?
Right. Hey, my campaign at the end of the day is about people of color and working families. It's about making sure that we all rise together. With that being said, both black and white and whoever, we still got to eat. We still got to make sure that there's a roof over our head. We still got to make sure that folks are getting educated. And so to me, I am advocating for you. I am advocating for you. And not only for you, but your neighbors. And for the person who isn't housed, for the person who just lost their job and, the benefits ain't coming through. At the end of the day, when we work on issues that center equity, everyone wins, because that means everyone can get a piece of the pie. And that's all the message has been from the get-go and will continue to be, because we're gonna need each other to get through both this pandemic and any other crises, God forbid, that would come through.
We don't need no more problems. Yeah. I'm telling you, we don't need no more problems. So, speaking of problems, right? Speaking of problems, we gonna go right into, listen, we you know what? We can't take it easy on our local politicians, especially when they say they're going to represent us. And this is, and I know this is one of the things visually. I don't have statistics on this. Portland has a horrible homeless crisis.
Yeah.
It's horrible. But now that crisis is starting to filter into the Washington County, the Forest Groves. And I don't want to sound like I'm not sympathetic to the homeless issue.
Then don't.
But at the same time, I'm a property owner, and I would like my property to continue to, gain some value.
Right.
And this homeless issue, you becoming a senator or a representative of this 15 district, how do you seek either combating or preventing that homeless push into our communities? Because on both sides of it, and I don't want to answer the question of
that's a loaded question.
Oh yes, I'm loading it up. I'm loading it up.
That's a loaded question.
But on both sides of this, as a property owner, I want the value of my property to continue to increase.
Right.
But on the other side of it, I do have a heart for people who are going through the misfortune.
Your answer is your own question.
No. But what I'm saying, going through the misfortune of being homeless, right? How are you, as a representative for us, going to satisfy both sides?
Yeah. I care about housing a lot. Actually, when I was in college, I was housing insecure at one point. I had to couch surf for a bit of time. And it was horrible. I hated that feeling. And that is one of the reasons why I'm running, is because I care about housing so much. With that being said, it is a loaded question. It is a loaded question because there's not just one solution. Unfortunately, I wish it was that easy. But, there's a lot of reasons why someone may be houseless. It could be addiction. It could be job related. It could be just like a bad home situation, whatever. So we're gonna need multiple solutions. That includes making sure, for starters, we can make sure that folks get their rental assistance checks on time before they get evicted.
Okay.
Right now, and we just had a special session to address some of this, but right now there are 20,000 rent assistance applications that have not been processed. That means there's 20,000 plus families that were just on the verge of eviction at the end of this month, but we were able to get in a safe harbor clause. But that it's things like that. Like we were able to extend the rent moratorium. We might need that extended again to prevent more folks from being houseless. Washington County alone had 6,000 of those applications.
Okay.
So to your point, you don't want that creep to come in. We got work to do to make sure that we're processing those applications, that we're resourcing the agencies to do that, and to the other issues that we that may creep up because of houselessness. We need strong addiction services. We need strong mental health services. Like, quite frankly, it's a public health issue.
Yeah.
And so, we need to build that structure and because it's not going to go away anytime soon, but it needs to be a wraparound service so that folks can get back into, the society, that they have good jobs, have roof over their head, that they have what they need in order to at least get through the day, So, I'm here for all of it. It's going to be a long road, though. I'm not going to sugarcoat it for y'all.
You are a politician.
Hey, yeah.
So, okay, looking at the unemployment rate in Washington County in the 15th district, we're not doing too shabby. There's a lot of jobs out there, and that's available, right? And once again, I'm going to be the devil's advocate. And my conservative friends and listeners, I'm not calling you guys the devil, so don't try to, play on my words. But I'll be the devil's advocate.
Hey,
okay.
Watch out.
But listen, there's plenty of jobs out there.
Yeah.
Companies like Intel, they're doing commercials. Nike is hiring. Mm-hmm. Everybody is hiring.
Yeah.
Why do I care that there's money for people who need their rent paid? Mm-hmm. I'm not speaking for me. I'm being the devil's advocate. Right. So I'm figuratively speaking for my conservative friends, and you guys can correct me in the comments and tell me you don't feel this way. But there's plenty of jobs out there. Why are we giving away this welfare? Mm-hmm. Help me understand the need that our politicians are finding ways to take care of a community of people who just need to go out and get a job.
Right, right. No, I love this question, because my question back would be, well, how much do the jobs pay? Is it enough to pay for folks to stay alive? Because I mean, yeah, there are jobs out there, and also, is it enough for them to stay off that welfare? Right. I know folks that have 2 jobs right now. Easy.
I know folks with good jobs who honestly, the housing market is pricing us out the game. Hey, I got a quote unquote good job. Okay.
Hey, yep.
And my rent still go up 120, 150 a year
Exactly.
when it's already high. So forgive me, but I don't be having a lot of sympathy when I see people, like when people ask for, like, I'm trying to figure out how I can get some of this housing help. Like I like that. But if when I go to do that, they look at the bottom line, they look at what you made last year, and they say, well, you don't qualify. Well,
Mm-hmm.
that means I can't live in Hillsborough. I can't live in Beaverton then. And it's like, well, I'm not going to drive from Gresham when I work in Hillsborough. Like, you know what I'm saying? You shouldn't have to do that. And
Right.
you know, I mean, matter of fact, let's stay on the 15th district. I don't want to get you.
No,
I don't want to get you into Portland problems.
Yeah.
I don't want to get you. Clint
That's a whole nother.
drug that homeless problem all the way over here. meanwhile, I'm in Beaverton, and if I just go outside and lay on the concrete right now, somebody had the cops out here for me in 15 minutes. Don't worry about it.
Now, you know what? I have to drag that over here because you know what? As a senator, I don't think that's your last stop.
Yeah.
I don't think that's your last stop. So you're going to, at some point, be dealing with far more issues than the 15th district.
Yeah.
You know, maybe it's congressman.
I got a question.
You know, maybe it's governor.
Yeah.
I don't know what your ambitions are, but I think that as a young person, a progressive, am I labeling you correctly? A progressive?
Yeah.
Okay. You're going to be looking at this whole conglomerate
Yeah.
of issues and problems that we're having in our state. Now, and I know we're dealing here on the Senate, and I heard you say you have a question. I know we're dealing right now on the Senate level, you know, getting things on the books that can help the folks. Let's go back to the kids. Let's go back to education for a second. I'm gonna pick a school. Hillsborough High School is considered, I think it's a Title A. All right, one of the poorest schools in the district. Right? How do we get that money? How do we get the funding and the money? Let's say a Lake Oswego gets.
Mm-hmm.
How do we get that money so we're not considered a Title A school, right? Now, we as adults, we work as hard as we can, but our kids still have needs, you know. But a Title A school, you know, that means we're broke.
Mm-hmm.
How do we get the funding that some of these other communities get?
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, what you're picking up on is the property taxes. The property tax system feeds into the local schools. And
Okay.
so if the people around the schools are low income, guess what? The school's going to be low income.
Education right there, ladies and gentlemen.
But it doesn't stop there because the state can allocate as much money as they want, right? There's a budget, but this last biennium, they allocated $9.3 billion, which was about like $200 or $300 million short of what we actually needed.
Okay.
To your point, you know, that missing chunk of money, that's the game changing investments that we, you know, that's a few million, right, for our high schools here. That's a few more teachers, that's a few more resources, and quite frankly, we're gonna need to continue to, you know, reform the way that we do revenue in the state to make sure that it's going to places like schools and making sure that the teachers stay, you know, that they have incentives to stay, and that you know, we continue to provide just the basic minimum, like free and reduced lunch. You know, that cannot be on the table ever.
Right.
Ever.
So how do we take some of these very large corporations that are operating in your district, right?
Mm-hmm.
And do we tax them more to help out the community? Do we give them less benefits for maybe growing in our community and providing jobs? What do we do to tap into allowing these big corporations, or as a conservative would say, you know, I'm gonna be the devil's advocate for conservatives. As a conservative would say, you know what, they're giving us jobs.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah.
right? They're giving us jobs, but we still want to some kind of way give out welfare. What do we do? Do we tax these companies more? Or are we right on point in that our problem with funding and building a better
tax me more to bring jobs to your community?
As a conservative, and I'm sorry, conservatives, if I'm misrepresenting
I'll leave
you,
y'all out here in the sticks. And if Intel and Nike pack up and leave right now from Beaverton, what y'all finna do out here? Go to Costco every day? You can't tax companies more to help improve your community.
Well, that's what I'm asking. That's what I'm asking. Do we tax them more? Or are we right on par and we don't want to touch these corporate giants for...
Go ahead and tell me a good reason to go to Forest Grove.
I'm just saying, do we not touch them, these corporate giants, because we don't want them to pack up and take the jobs with them?
Well, it's a catch-22.
But I want to hear it from the up-and-coming senator here.
Yeah. I'm sorry. You were saying some crazy stuff like, you finna do what with my job? Don't worry about it. I'll take me with y'all.
No, yeah. I mean, it is a catch, right? Because at the end of the day, employers like Nike and Intel, they provide good jobs for the community. They provide great. My dad works at Intel. He's been there for over 2 decades. So, and my mom is a small business owner here. Mama's Country Kitchen. If y'all want some good Southern
shameless
food.
plug, I love it.
I love my mom.
Normally we charge for that, but it's okay. It's okay.
I love it.
My gosh, but no, but on a real note, look. We have in passing the Student Success Act, it was actually a pretty decent tax on corporations. So now it's like, how do we use that money? One program that used to be in Washington County that is no longer in Washington County, it's called Gain Share, which is the corporate taxes that we do raise coming back into our county and making sure that we're investing in something. I think we were able to get like $16 million, something like that.
Okay.
That expired. And a lot of the conversation has been like, well, if Washington County wants that money back, how are we going to invest it equitably? How are we going to make sure that the folks who need it the most are getting that money? And my argument to folks is that, hey, we're going to need a leader in Senate District 15 that can build a large coalition of folks that can bring together folks from the business community, the labor community, youth organizations, people of color, and make sure that we're passing something that works for all of us, and so that we all win, so that businesses can continue to thrive. Our schools here, that they have additional resources, and that we have resources for other things that really have been hampering our economic development, like childcare, right? Like, there are so many parents out there that are just like screaming for childcare. There's not enough slots, especially in Washington. Look, I'm right now with my labor union, I'm working on a $100 million package for childcare that would ensure that in rural areas and culturally specific childcare services are being expanded. That's Washington County. Like, so there are opportunities for us to invest here. We have the money. Really, it's like, what are we doing to prioritize what we actually care about, right? And make sure that we're aligned with our values there.
You become senator.
Yeah.
The people vote you in. What's your number one thing? What's the first thing you're going to actually work on?
The first thing. Can I have 3?
You got to give me your top priority.
Well, what's your platform?
Thank you. The platform is 3 things. That's what I asked.
Yeah, I got you, player. I got the alley-oop.
Hey, listen. You know what? I'm going to advocate for my conservative listeners today. Right. What is the number one thing that you're going to work on? Because I need to see if you have my best interest at heart.
Ask them kind of questions, so when it ain't theirs, they can disassociate themselves from voting for you. What'd you say? You want to do what? Okay, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
I mean, it's what I said earlier, which is housing. Like, I was not playing when I said I cared a lot about it, and I still remember the feeling that I had, going to bed, not knowing where my next meal was going to come from. Also, it wasn't really a bed. It was a couch. Let's be clear about that as well. And at the end of the day, just like the hopelessness and despair that came along with that, housing is at the intersections of race, income, educational outcomes. Like, it's just so tied to everything else that I truly believe that it is a human right to be housed. Like, I think people need to be housed. Like, from what the data shows, it's just so connected to everything else. We have to figure it out. And it's, I think, ridiculous that with the resources that we do have that we haven't yet. And so, I mean, yeah, that's what I'm passionate about the most. That's what my heart leans towards the most. But I got some other stuff.
Okay.
Let me. I got my own questions, but I want to follow up on that. But see, here's the thing. Like, when you talk about housing, right? You, like, when Clinton said something about the jobs you went to, well, is it a fair wage? Are you able to afford housing? Here's the deal, though. If you tell me your apartment is, say your apartment $10, and I say I'm going to give you 15.
Right.
If the apartment goes up to 13 next year, you're forcing my hand to raise your salary to fit into the housing. Like, who regulates who? Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, because the first thing people say is, well, the minimum wage ain't enough to live here. Well, shit. Well, tell them to stop raising the rent. You know what I'm saying? And then you won't have to. You see what I'm saying? They both feed on each other. I can give you 15. Matter of fact, if it goes up to 13, I can give you 20. But by the time you ask me to give you 25 because it went up to 18, I gotta stop somewhere because I'm being driven not by you or consideration for you. I'm being driven by the housing market. You know what I'm saying? And now you messing up my bottom line.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So how do you, like, at some point, and I'm being idealistic here. At some point, we getting dangerously close to unfair housing practices.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But it's not, and I know nobody will agree with me because it ain't you buying a house. It ain't like a loan. It ain't like predatory lending. It ain't nothing like that. But still, like, where do we stop these? It ain't even the housing market. It's the apartments that drive it. Mm-hmm. Because the apartments drive you to buy a house because in a minute you like, man, I'm from Atlanta, Georgia. You know how much I'm paying for this spot right here, and this ain't even this ain't even nothing. But you see what neighborhood we in. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I'm paying for the outside. I ain't paying for this. But man, I'll take this money I'm spending right here, boy. We have a good time in Atlanta.
Yeah.
and I live on Peachtree.
I want to go to Atlanta.
So I guess my question is, how do we stop? I mean, like, I know you care about housing, but how do we, like, is there something we can do? Matter of fact, not even we. Is there something you can do to stop this drive up where you pricing people out the game?
Ooh, I want to take it back to the we, though, because that's let's take it back to the we, though. I mean,
you know how we gonna do it.
Yeah.
Burn it up and get behind shirts.
Exactly. Let's.
I'm not with you guys on that. I'm sorry.
Well, okay. So on the real. So looking at who can regulate who, the state has the ability to set a rent cap, and we did a few sessions ago. The rent cap was basically at 10%. So rental company could, or landlord could raise your rent 9.9%.
A year.
See,
that don't help me, man.
And it doesn't help.
I thought you was going to say like total, because when you said that, I'm like, nah, player, they done got me then.
And I bring it up because it's like, that's way too high. Way too high.
I'm going to give you a real life situation right here.
Oh, please.
This spot that I'm in right now, I've been month to month for over a year. And I'm going to tell you why I'm month to month. Because as soon as some better shit come along, I'm gone.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because, here's the game. Well, we're going to charge you $120 more to go month to month. So, if I find something better, I'm gone. And I don't want to have to give you can charge me, you see, they'll charge me $120 less now. but you'll lock me in for 12 months. You see what I'm saying? So I'd rather just give it to you up front. You're going to take it anyway.
Yeah.
Don't you? It's
With a security deposit?
It's strong on
Oh
robbery.
my gosh. I hate
Sound like it's time
that.
to buy a house.
Strong on
I
robbery.
hate that.
Sound like it's time to buy a house.
Hey,
but
Clinton,
you know what?
As soon as you give me my down payment on it, they looking for
Okay.
20% now.
Well, the same thing with housing. So
Yeah.
Washington County, Forest Grove, and you're within your 15 district. If I was to go out and try to purchase a home, and I'm not sure if the Senate can do anything about this, but I'm going to throw it out there anyway. But if I was to go out and buy a home, and with people migrating into this community, right? A $250,000 home, and a $250,000 home,
We in Florida.
all of a sudden turns into a $330,000 home because we don't have enough homes for the people. So now
Yeah.
homeowners, sellers, right? They can now balloon that price, which is also pricing people out of being able to have fair housing. Now, is that a bad thing? Is that something that the Senate can help with? You know, if you get into office, you turn around and, you know, I have a $250,000 condo. That's what it's worth on paper, $250,000. But the supply and the demand, we need some growth. We need some areas to grow because we need to bring the prices of housing down to something acceptable so people can survive. But right now, I can sell my $310,000 condo for $455,000. Right?
It's crazy. Yeah.
That's crazy. So, you know, if my math is correct, that's about $10,000 more than what it's worth. I don't know what the percentage of that is, but how can our local politicians, our senators help us? Because if I wanted to buy a house right now, you know, get out of the apartment renting and
Point at me, man.
you know, and
Everybody
get out of this escalating rent, and I want to buy a house, but now buying a house, I have to be willing to pay $110,000 more than what the property is even valued at.
Yeah.
How do our local politicians help us with that? Because these are my problems. You know, if I'm thinking of, you know, somebody that's possibly going to vote for you, this is my problem. How are you going to help me with that? My questions are loaded, man.
I don't know.
I've been waiting all week for this.
You know what? I don't even know. You think he's Superman? He said he running for Senate. You asking this man? Hey, well, I tell you what.
Hey, how you gonna cure kryptonite?
I don't know. You asking this
Oh
man
my
some questions. Well, I want to say it ain't nothing he could do about that. He said he running for Senate, not God.
Hey.
Go ahead.
But you got to throw it out there because I want to hear ideas, and nothing is perfect.
Right.
But what ideas are you cultivating to possibly help people out of this bad place? Because it's horrible. I moved here for a job. I need a place to stay, but I can't afford to buy and I can't afford to rent.
Me and Senator Wise gonna do a resume workshop for you. That's what we gonna do. Get your ass a job.
A better job, huh?
I have two things come to mind that are like, you know, they're realistic. And then one thing comes to mind that some people would maybe call me some names.
Okay.
So the two things is, well, I guess the first is creating a housing equity fund, which would make sure that for first-time home buyers, you know, maybe we could have it depending on your race or your income and or your income level, that there would be a set amount of money aside for you to be able to apply, get that funding. Also, we need to continue to build affordable housing and protect the prices of that affordable housing. We have affordable housing right now. Sometimes, you know, that it's not protected, but we need more units. To your point earlier, we need more units to be able to do that. So that's the second thing. The third thing is also providing public housing, and you know, the idea around that is actually having the state buy houses build and buy houses, very, very low interest rate. You know, put someone in that house. They have to stay there, but you know, after a certain amount of time, they own it.
Right.
That's, you know, you want, like, we need to build wealth. That's the only way that, you know, people of color, low income folks will get to the next tax bracket, so to speak, is really cultivating that wealth and putting our money where our mouth is. Like, if we really want to solve the problem, we have to invest some big money into making sure that we're doing this right. Yeah.
All right, man. Don't worry about it. You can relax. I ain't gonna ask you no more housing questions. Man, Clint just trying to save some money this year. All right, so let's talk about the competition. So with Raleigh's, with the seat opening up in District 15.
Yeah.
So what we got? We got you. We got Nathan dropped out. Joe. Yeah, you know I do my little research now. We supposed to do the podcast last week. So who we got?
Gallegos, Representative Gallegos.
Yeah, Joe Gallegos, and you got Janine Solman.
Yeah.
She's part of House 30.
Yeah, House District 30.
Yeah. Okay, so this is your competition.
So
who else? I thought it was you, Joe, Janine, and who? I know Nathan was in, but he dropped out. Was it anybody else, or is it just y'all three?
Anthony Martin, who is a Hillsborough City Councilor. Ryan Van Domelen, who is a New Seasons worker. So
yeah, I read about him too.
3 of them have dropped out.
Oh,
so Nathan Sosa, you know, when I got in, there were 6, and then folks have dropped out since.
You're scaring people away, huh?
So who are we talking about?
I mean, let's talk about it. So,
okay, let's talk about it.
So who in? So it was 6.
So right now,
I just knew Nathan dropped out. Who else dropped out?
Ryan Van Domelen dropped out.
Okay, he was the
New Seasons.
the cashier. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. And then former Representative Joe Gallegos also dropped out and endorsed me at my kickoff.
Okay.
So it's you, Janine, and Joe.
And Anthony Martin. Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
so the question. Besides, matter of fact, let me not ask that question. I don't want to get into race.
They might.
No, race is just a low.
No, bring it.
Race is low hanging fruit.
Bring it. He mentioned it. Bring it.
I do you one better. Why should we vote for you? No, honestly, because I feel like race is the low hanging fruit. That's why I don't want to ask you that question. So why should we vote for you?
Yeah.
But I wanted to outline it because you know, in everything, their decisions, their choices, their platforms, we need to know what can Wise do for me?
Right.
Besides be the wise choice.
Hey,
that's what you should have said. The wise choice.
Yeah. Let's go. All right.
I thought about that first, but
it's low hanging fruit.
Yeah.
Low-hanging fruit.
I was still making my damn
yeah. So here's the thing. I think for us to bring back real resources and wins to our communities, we need someone who could build a strong and broad coalition. And I think that's me. Not only because have I worked with the folks that have endorsed me, and to be clear, I'm the only candidate that has endorsements from community leaders, elected officials, labor unions, and community organizations. I'm the only candidate that has that right now. On top of that, we're gonna need to make sure that we're building leadership that is reflective of the county. Right now, I mean, I know you're like you said, race is a.
Well, I just didn't want to reach for that because I knew the answer. But I don't like asking questions I know the answers to. Yes, I do. But I don't want to be disingenuous.
But I mean,
but you know what I mean, because it's easy to say, well, you're the minority, you know. But
I mean, like yes, to the minority thing, and also, guess what? We're growing, we're changing. We might not be the minority, and my argument is
in Oregon. Oh, you mean in District 15?
I'm just talking about. Okay. I'm just talking about.
I'm with y'all. Idealistic dream. I just want it to be a dream and not a fantasy.
Right.
No.
The census data shows that
as long as they keep on offering jobs, people who are willing to work are going to keep on coming to the state.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So let me ask this. So for about 37 years now, 84, 88, 92, 96, 2000, 2002, 2006, 2010. This district was represented by all Republicans.
Right.
Up until there got to be a time where
2014? Up to when?
Well, no, up until 2010. Right.
Okay.
Right. 2010, and then 2014, Chuck came in.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So we know there's been, somewhat some redistricting or boundary changes, right? But from 2014, 2018, and now, it's been Democrat.
Right.
You're representing Democrats.
Right.
Progressive.
Mm-hmm.
What's to stop this district from going back Republican?
Mm-hmm.
How do you what's your, I won't say strategy.
Yeah.
But people aren't really used to change. And there's been a slight change since 2018 up until now. So
It's been a few.
right, so why not go back to the Republican Party? Maybe our schools are better. Maybe there's a lot of less welfare giving to those who we feel are not trying as hard as they can, or not,
Not trying as hard as they can. That's
tying their, grabbing their bootstraps and, their own bootstraps.
Pulling themselves up by the bootstraps.
You know what I mean.
Oh, you got all the cliches. You've been watching Fox News.
Yeah. Hey, you know what? You got to keep your mind sharp on both edges.
I ain't gonna lie.
Both
I watch more Fox News than any channel because I want to know what they saying.
Yeah.
No.
But what's to make a person who would typically just down the ballot vote Republican? What's to make that person look at you and go, you know what? This is the change I want for my kids. This is the change I want for my family. This is the change I want for my community. And how do I feel included in his plan?
Right.
In the Lamar Wise plan. How do I feel like I'm included in that plan? Although we're on two total different spectrums of the political stance.
Right. No, it's a good question because, I mean, the way I think about it, at the end of the day, the issues that are on my platform that our campaign talks about is, they're not partisan things at all. We're talking about COVID-19 recovery. We're talking about rental systems. We're talking about money for education. We're talking about making sure that we are building jobs in a way that is sustainable. So my call for more conservative folks and Republican folks is like, hey, let's work together, because it does no good for one side to win all the time. It does no good for us to completely ignore a whole part of our community. At the end of the day, we all still need to get through this. And so my issues aren't, I would argue they're not partisan. It's just, let's cover our basics. And that's what I believe in. So,
okay.
I want to ask a loaded question.
Oh, now you want to get on this loaded train, huh?
I mean, I wasn't going to ask him because no matter what he says, it's not going to be the right answer. I know.
Or it might be. I don't know. I might surprise you.
He said,
I'm ready.
Mr. Wise.
Yeah.
With the whole United States, we're going through our COVID-19 mandates and our protocols, and we want to all get back to work. We want to stop all of this unemployment. Where do you stand on mask mandates, and how do you feel about vaccinations? Where do you stand on that, sir?
Oh, Lord, hey.
Man.
I wasn't even that harsh.
Once again, no, whatever answer you give, don't worry, it was wrong.
Man, at least wear a mask. Are you kidding me? A mask? Are you kidding? That's my answer.
I don't want to, Mr. Wise. I don't want to wear this mask. Wait, what did she say? What did the lady say? Oh, I feel like breathing carbon dioxide back into my system is harmful to me. So.
Gosh.
Hey man, you can't come out that hard against it, man. I'll try to be your friend here. You
Yeah,
can't come out that hard. You gotta give a middle of the road answer for me, man. Come on, man. You said you was a politician. Come on, man.
Hey,
walk that tightrope. Come on, man. I know you got.
I can't walk it the whole time. I gotta be true to myself. Which is like, hey, yeah, let's. I mean, this again going back.
This vaccine is fake. I mean, the vaccine is fake, and it doesn't help.
Yeah.
You're basing that on facts or opinion?
Well, I'm just going by what I read on what I saw on the news.
Yeah.
They said
I just want to let you guys know that 2 Cent the podcast does not stand on those comments that the vaccine is fake.
Hey, listen,
okay, I just want to make that clear.
Mr. Wise. Well, first of all, everybody in this room is vaccinated, but that's neither here nor there.
And boosted A.
I just got it because my job was giving out money for it. Now listen.
Right.
So anyway, now look. Yeah, man, we in this thing. We all want to come out of it, but there's a lot of people who just they don't feel like this vaccine is the right thing to do. They feel like they should continue to spread this variant, and so it can continue to mutate and kill us. So where do you stand on that, Mr. Wise?
Look, oh boy. So
More ginger ale, sir?
I do. I'm a little thirsty. Look, at the end of the day, I feel like if we are in a society that is dedicated to protecting each other, we have to do what we can to do that. With that being said, if you don't feel comfortable getting the vaccine for whatever reason, okay, sure, that's a choice that you can make. Also, though, if you were in public service and you were, serving people day in, day out, my grandma is 75. I would be beside myself if, for whatever reason, I came in contact with someone who was unvaccinated and I, somehow carried it home, got her sick, and something bad happened to her. Best believe, like, you would meet a whole new Lamar after that.
Absolutely.
Like, it's not even a fun and games type thing.
Yeah.
Like, that's my family, and I will do absolutely whatever I need to do to protect
I feel
my
the same
family.
way. I got 2 grandmothers. I have 2 grandmothers back in Atlanta, and they are 80. And I got vaccinated because I thought it was just the right thing to do. I just don't understand the concept of there's a virus out here, and we are just actively going to ignore it. I don't even know how people form their thoughts to think, well, hell, maybe I'll be the outlier. That's like the stupidest shit I ever heard. Like, what makes you think you special? Like, honestly, I am for quarantining all the anti-vaxxers in one state and letting them die off together.
You know what? We're not gonna go down that road. We're not gonna let you die on that hill.
We talking about personal choices here.
But you know what? And the personal choice is
personal choices.
The personal choice is you follow the law.
I'm willing to build a wall for that shit.
You follow the law. Or you don't follow the law. For me,
what's the law?
I got vaccinated because spending time in the military, you was forced to get vaccinated anyway. I think it was your anniversary of your date of entry into the military or your birth date that you had to go and get all of these shots, and they were mandatory. Tuberculosis, the A and B, hepatitis, all of these shots, and I figure if
you can't say the law though, man. They can't make a mass mandate a law. I mean,
well, you know what?
Don't get me wrong. I would like to see them try.
But
however,
it is what it is.
It would be a whole movie on TV, and I'm telling you, I would stay in the house because
you know what? It is what it is.
That
would
be a lot.
So let me ask you this. All right.
Yeah.
We got about 6 minutes left into this podcast.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah,
6 minutes left. All right. I know it. Now we can do a part 2 as we get closer to election time.
Okay. Love to come back.
And
January 8th.
I reached out to one of the folks that's running for governor. So hopefully they come on the podcast and we can, really see what it does. Give us your summary of why, we should be voting for you. Why and how are you going to earn our votes? Yeah. And most importantly, how are you not going to make us regret voting for you?
Jesus Christ.
Oh, I got to throw it out there. Now, I can let our listeners know, I've known this kid since I think middle school or something like that, which, you know, probably makes me very old since he can run for politics and, you know, run for some type of office. But I'm not going to let him off the hook.
Yeah.
Tell me what you're standing on.
Yeah.
Tell us how you plan to accomplish those things. And more importantly, how do you make me not regret voting for you?
Right. Join Team Wise. Join our campaign. Join the winning team, because it's, you know, it's not just me. I want to make that very clear. Again, I'm the only candidate that has been endorsed by communities of color, that's been endorsed by labor unions, that's been endorsed by local leaders. And the reason why, and I've gone toe-to-toe with my opponents and won endorsements from the biggest labor unions in the state. Why is that? It's because they all know that I've been in the trenches with them. You know, I've led coalitions where things have been good. I've also led them through when things have been awful. You know, we need true, bold leadership in the Senate. And the reason why I'm running with the growing coalition that is beside me is so that our issues don't get played second fiddle to the powers that be in Salem anymore. When I'm going to be there, I'm going to make a lot of noise. I'm going to make sure that we tear down the institution as it stands right now to make sure that, again, working families and people of color at the center of how we make policy. Because without that, like, it's just business as usual. That's not working. That's never worked. We need to adapt. We need to change. We need to grow. And I know that's scary. And if we actually want to build, like, I want to have kids so bad, bring them into this world and be like, look, this is all yours. You know, like, this is all you. Go do whatever you want to do. I don't know if I can say that right now if I brought a kid into the world. Like,
yeah, it's trash out here. I mean, I'm just being honest.
No, yeah, thank you. Yeah, like, so I'm going to do what I can. You know, I'm not going to promise that every single problem is going to be solved. That's silly. I will promise that I'm not going to stop working. I'm not going to give up. And that I'm not alone. You know, it's not by coincidence that I have the team that I have with me. It's because it's very intentional, and it's because we've worked together for a long time. And, you know, if we're going to win, we're going to win together. If we're going to lose, we'll try again later together.
Shout out your team right now.
The team. Okay, so the folks closest to me, Kevin Sullivan, he's been managing my campaign. Danielle Alexander, she has done my comms, has been awesome. Ricardo Lujan, he's been doing a lot of the coalition work with me. Yeah, there's a lot of folks that, and then again, organizations like Imagine Black, you know, great organization that does nothing but uplift Black candidates and build Black power. So they've been amazing, as well as Mother Pack. You know, I spoke with them last week, which is a lot of mothers and caregivers. They are excited about the opportunity of us being in office. And of course, my labor union, AFSCME 75. You know, it's time for, again, working families to be at the center. So yeah, love my folks. They work so hard, and I can't thank them enough for doing what they can to get me this far.
Ladies, I don't know if you heard it, but the man kind of alluded to being single.
Did he lose?
So if you're out there, you might have a chance to be first lady of something. I don't know.
Nah, man,
I'm just throwing it out there.
Hey, man, don't convolute.
But ladies and gentlemen,
push. Hold on, man. I want to ask.
No more questions.
I just want to ask.
No more questions. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you for tuning in to another episode of 2 Cent the Podcast.
Now we can't be on the campaign. I was going to say, what can we do?
Hey, listen.
Oh, that's a good question.
I was going to say, what can 2 Cent do?
You know what? Let me shut up because that is a good question. Although, while you were in the back room, we already discussed what 2 Cent the Podcast is going to be doing to help with the campaign. Yeah. But, to allow my co-host, and ladies and gentlemen, that's why he's the co-host. And that's why he's the co-host and not the host, because I already know what the plan is. But go ahead and ask your question.
Mr. Wise, what can 2 Cent the Podcast do for you?
Hey, thank you so much. I would say direct your listeners to go to wise4organ.com, donate. I would also love to do a fundraiser with you all at some point.
Definitely down.
Let's have more fun. Let's talk about some hard stuff. Let's keep going. Yeah,
I'm with it.
We had already discussed the fundraiser before the show started.
Yeah, but now the listeners know they need to
but you know what? You're right. You're right. I should be forthcoming with the information that I have instead of holding it so close and near and dear to my heart.
Don't spend all your tax return. We need some of that.
All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, there will be a fundraiser coming to you soon. It's going to happen here in Washington County. I want you to bring your checks for $5, $10, $20, $100, or whatever you can afford.
$5. I feel like we should.
Hey, listen, man. We not going to insult people. If you want to bring a $5 check, bring a $5 check.
Who still got checks?
I just don't know. Can you accept cash? I don't know how that.
Clint, if somebody brought a $5 check, I'll rip it up and just.
No. You. I don't think you can accept cash. You have to have some kind of tracking, right?
We can accept cash if you put it in an envelope. And we can.
It's like tithes and offering. It's like tithes and offering.
It's a tithes. It is. It actually does look like that. It actually does. And pay your tithes and offering, everybody.
Okay.
But it does look like that.
I remember putting my little $3 inside of there, licking the envelope.
A whole $3?
Yeah.
In church, I ain't had no money, man. I ain't even had no job. My mama gave me that money.
Right. Ladies and gentlemen, this episode of 2 Cent the Podcast is sponsored by Mama's Country Kitchen, since she got the shameless plug from her son. Hey, but Mama's Country Kitchen, I have had the food and I truly do endorse it.
You got the address? You got
No. It's a catering company. You guys Google that, and you should come up with a information in Hillsboro. So it is a small local business. Make sure you guys support that. And the food is great. And if you can, ask for an apple brownie. Hey. Ask for an apple brownie, so man. I've been living off them things for 16 years. Hey, but this has been another episode of 2 Cent the Podcast. We thank you, Mr. Lamar Wise.
Thank you.
We congratulate you on running for Senate, and we wish you the best of luck. And
absolutely,
ladies and gentlemen, you know what you need to do from here. Get involved in your local politics. Let your money speak for you, all right? Because it does take money for these campaigns, and if you want change, bring it to us. Bring the change. All right, ladies and gentlemen, peace.
This has been 2 Cents, the podcast, hosted by Clinton Washington, with co-host DeAngelo Gillespie, brought to you by Underway Entertainment and Pound the Pavement Productions. Thanks for listening.